Namaste, Jai Shivai. A lot of people, when they read the Puranas or the stories from the ancient Indian scriptures, they realize that they may not be true, especially when it comes to tapasya, when it comes to doing the spiritual practices. That's when they realize, oh, that can't be true. How can somebody do a tapasya for 1,000 years? How can somebody do any kind of tapasya for hundreds of years, 100 years? So now there are two things to understand. Very important things to understand, actually. That one reason to say, one way of saying that somebody was doing tapasya for 5,000 years or say 1,000 years, then that actually means the person is being reborn again and again. Okay, so nobody is counting the birth in between. And when is the case when we do not count the births in between, or say that, oh, you have been living for 5 lifetimes or 10 lifetimes? When is that not counted? When a yogi has reached a really high level in their spiritual journey, where having a body or not having a body does not matter for doing the tapasya. Yes, in their last lifetime, finally, they will be born as human being. They will take another human birth. But they have made themselves so capable that even when they do not have a physical body, and they only have the sukshma or the subtle body made up of 18 subtle elements, still they can do the tapasya. And how is it possible? How it is not possible? Well, look at a small example. Even from your lifetime, many times what happens is that when yogis reach a certain level in their spiritual journey, and they are able to stay conscious during their entire wakeful hours, say 18 hours, 16 hours, somebody is awake, and they are able to stay fully conscious. Then at that time, we suggest them that they do the practice of Yoga Nidra. Why? So that even the sleeping hours can be used as a conscious, to stay conscious. And during that sleeping hours, they may be having dreams, though all the dreams are vivid. But if they are conscious, then it's not called as a dream. It is called as having vision. Okay, that's just the English way of saying it. But no longer they are unconscious, being driven by their vrittis or by the dream during their sleeping hours. Instead, they are fully conscious. And the day any yogi attains a 24-hour cycle of staying conscious, 100, that is when they are very close to samadhi. They are very close to attaining moksha. So, if that is possible, that we utilize the waking hours and then we utilize the sleeping hours as well. What is happening in your sleeping hours? In your sleeping hours, during the sleep, your physical body, your physical 5 senses are not there in your perception. Right? What is there in your perception? Everything that is subtle. Just the body made up of the subtle body, which is made up of 18 subtle elements, that is what is in your perception. If you are conscious during your sleep as well. So that is what is called as, if we can do that while living and having a body, if that is possible. So imagine some people, if due to any reasons they'll have to leave the body and they cannot hold the current body, then, and their tapasya, their spiritual journey is not yet complete, then what will they do? They will keep on doing the tapasya, they will keep on staying conscious and, still looking for their chitta vrittis and stuff. If you have not watched the Sankhya Darshan, there are 3 videos of Sankhya Darshan on the English channel of Being Shiva Foundation, and you can watch them. There I have explained the body, the elements, the gross body, the subtle body, and then the causal body. Each and every element has been explained properly. So you can watch those Sankhya Darshan videos. So you can see even after, so when we say somebody was doing tapasya for thousands of years, so one point is to understand that they may be taking births in between or not taking births in between. This birth and then the last birth they may have, yet they have made themselves they have taken themselves to the level where tapasya can continue without taking a body. And body is taken for just the remaining karma. Unless somebody has some karma left, they cannot actually hold on to the body. But their tapasya can continue without the body, without the physical body, the gross body. Okay, so this is one way of understanding when it is said in the Shastras, in the ancient Hindu scriptures, that somebody was doing tapasya for 5,000 years or 1,000 years or so long. Another thing to understand, important point to understand here is that in every yuga, we have 4 yugas, 4 time cycles, right? So Satya Yuga is there. And then we have Treta Yuga, and we have Dwapara Yuga, and then we have Kali Yuga. Okay, and likewise again we will have Kali Yuga, and then again Dwapar, and then again Treta Yuga, and then again Satya Yuga. So this is a complete cycle of 26,000 years, and this is also the time. 26,000 years is when the earth is actually moving and completing its one round on its obliquity. Okay, the earth's obliquity is changing all the time, and that obliquity is what changes this yugas, the time cycle of yugas. That is what is responsible for doing it. That is how it is counted. The calculation is in reference to the earth's obliquity for the yugas. And if you study Surya Siddhant, another major important document in understanding Shastra, in understanding the time cycles, the yugas, the impact of sun, the distance from the sun, the distance of earth from other planets, and this and that and everything, is actually Surya Siddhant. So in these time cycles, one important thing to understand, which people do not realize, is that when it is the Kali Yuga time, then your body is made up of 5 elements, right? Earth element, Prithvi element, and then Jala element, Jal Tattva, or the water element, and Agni Tattva, fire element, and then Vayu Tattva, which is air element, and then Akasha, the 5th element. Okay, so your body is made up of these 5 elements. In Kali Yuga, those who are born as humans mostly have body made up of 5 elements, but Prithvi Tattva or the Earth Tattva is dominant in them. People being born in Dwapara Yuga have water element dominating them, not the earth element. People being born in Treta Yuga have Agni element. Treta Yuga has Agni element in them, which is dominating. Okay, and Satya Yuga has Vayu element, or the air tattva, air element or Vayu tattva as the dominating element in the body. Now what does this mean, that one is dominating versus the other? Well, it has a lot of meaning, lot of things to do with your health actually. So when somebody is having a body in Kali Yuga, say, which is dominated by the Prithvi element, then it becomes difficult to kill the other person. Unless a whole lot of power or things are used, they will not die easily. Yet at the same time, they have a very shortest possible lifespan. Why? A lot of torture cannot be dealt with. You cannot bear a lot of torture at all. Okay? And diseases related to the bone structure, the architecture of your body is way much more visible in the society. You'll see a lot of people with physical bodily deformity. That is what Prithvi Tattva does. The Prithvi element, the earth element does to your body. And if you catch a disease or something, it will cause a death. It's not curable. Most of the things are not curable. Most of the type of viruses, this, that, bacteria, this, that, whatever goes on, whatever kind of diseases that are dominant in a particular, in the Kali Yuga, will ultimately, they are actually killing the people. They won't save the people in any way. And a lot of surgery related things happen. Fixing through the surgery has to happen. So surgery becomes a major thing during Kali Yuga. Otherwise, how will you fix the physical body? There are structural problems of the body, right? So that is what Kali Yuga, that is Kali Yuga type bodies do have that. And then Dwapar Yuga has water element running wild. Water element is what is dominating. Now, water element dominates what in your existence? Your Manomaya Kosh. That is the property of, under the control of the water element. So, you see, a whole lot of mental diseases, mental issues, mental problems, mental health things have become so rampant these days, right? Because we are living in the Dwapara Yuga. And water dominating bodies is what we have. So there are less things that would impact you physically. And lot of medicines are there, things are there. And surgery has, more than surgery, the need for mental health treatment has become a priority. And that is what happens when the bodies are ruled by water element. Whatever virus or bacteria or things are impacting, they are still less in comparisons to the social factors, worldly factors, life factors that can impact you mentally. So people are much more mentally challenged than being physically challenged. In other words, life becomes mentally challenging instead of becoming physically challenging. That's the typical characteristic of Dwapara Yuga bodies. Still, Dwapara Yuga bodies live a little longer than the Kali Yuga bodies. You are able to sustain your body for a long time. And then comes and if a physical injury happens to you, it can still be healed with some medicine, things like that. And it doesn't become, rarely in some people, they die because of the physical stuff, physical disease, physical things. And you will not see much of physical deformity in the total population of the humanity. Less physical deformities are there in comparison to the people being born in the Kali Yuga. Then comes Treta Yuga after Dwapar. So in Treta Yuga, the bodies are made up of Agni element. They have even longer lifespan. Their height is more, and no matter what happens to your physical body, it is healed very quickly, and very less things can happen to your physical body actually. And it's not so easy to kill you, or it's not that easy. So that is the reason even the Rakshas, the Asuras, the demons take the body during the Agni. And in the later part of the Dwapar, when almost Dwapar is about to end or something, 200 years of Dwapar are remaining. That is when Asuras, the demons and Rakshas are started to take birth. Why? Because it's not easy, and they will be able to go through their physical lifetime and spend their karma, whatever they have to spend. They are, all those bodies of other than the human body are bhog deha, right? So they are just experiential. Whatever good, bad you have done, now it's the time to just experience and settle your karmic account. Karmic balance. So that is why they are born when approximately 100-200 years before the Treta starts. So they can't be killed easily. Now look at, if we go back to the previous Dwapar Yuga that we had when Bhagwan Sri Krishna was there, So you can see that Kans and lot of Rakshas and demons, they tried to kill Bhagwan Krishna when he was a young child, and then when he grew up, still lot of bad people were there for him to fight and to eliminate from the society, from the place. So you see, and Bhagwan Krishna himself was so tall and can't be easily. You think he wouldn't be getting injured by fighting the demons or by doing all the things, or that even Pandavas were not being injured? No, they were being injured. But those physical injuries was not killing them. Physical injury didn't kill anybody until unless that Bhagwan Shri Krishna said, okay, I want to settle my karma by getting a physical injury and by being shot an arrow, and he died that way into the Achilles heel. So the bodies in late Dwapara or Dwapara Yuga, they lose their impact. There's less of mental upheavals and less of that, and it becomes more about the Agni Tattva. The more we keep moving from water to Agni Tattva. So Agni Tattva, what it does is, the bodies are tall, you can't be easily killed. So all demons are born too. Ravan was born, Ram was born. They were fairly tall people. So the height increases a lot. And because the body is made up of Agni Tattva, it is not going to be dissolvable. All the Chiranjeevis that we say belong to either the Yuga, their first birth happened during the Sat Yuga, or their birth happened during the Treta Yuga. So Hanumanji is there, one of the Chiranjeevi. Parshuram was there before that. All these people started as from their Chiranjeevi life cycle. That started from either from the Agni Tattva body, or it started in the Sat Yuga from the Vayu Tattva body. Okay, so fire element becomes dominant. No matter how much bones you break or how much physical injury you have, it just gets quickly healed. And there is less. Either you are outright good or outright bad. The chances of you having lot of thoughts, that is not there. And bodies live a very long life. And then in Satyuga again, the body is made up of air element. Air element is dominating in those bodies. So lifespan becomes even longer. Longest lifespan is there. So when we say if somebody was doing tapasya for 100, 200 years, yeah, that is possible with the Vayu Tattva Pradhan bodies. With the air element Pradhan bodies, air element dominating bodies, that is very much possible to live a life till 300, 400 years, 500 years. It's very much possible. Even today, we see a lot of yogis. You can Google all the ancient people and yogis, and they have successfully lived all the way till 100, 150, 180 years, 200 years. And recently I was watching somebody who was 257 years old. So you see that if it is being possible now and people start living sensibly, they can live that much of life span. And even if you don't believe into or are not able to find enough proof or satisfaction from the fact that yes, people are able to live till 200 years, then just look for 100, 120 years is very much in reach. All the Japanese people, the average age is 94. That means some people are living till 117, 120, 124 as a normal age. For maximum Japanese are able to live that age lifespan. So, as the yuga changes, now what impact does it have on your tapasya? A lot of Hatha Yoga, solid physical yoga, physically torturous yoga is possible only when the Prithvi element, earth element is dominant in the body. When water element is dominant, you cannot do a lot of harsh tapas using physical body. You cannot do that. And it's not needed either. It's not needed. You will, a lot of people doing a lot of physical asanas and yogas, and they are not increasing their consciousness. They are not expanding their consciousness. They are not strengthening their pranamaya kosha as a result. Then what happens is acidity. First thing to start. A lot of acidity, a lot of physical pain, joint pains, and in many ways I have seen people doing hatha yoga becoming seriously sick with many diseases. So Hatha Yoga or Hatha Yoga is not the thing of, not something that has to be done in excess. It shouldn't be your regular practice. This is the best time to do Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Be conscious. That is Kriya Yoga. That is done using the Vijnanamaya Kosh actually. But it starts with Pranamaya Kosh, as in the form of pranayamas, so that your Agni Tattva starts lighting up, because that is where we are moving. We are in Dwapar, we have the water element dominated physical body. So then you are moving towards the Treta Yuga, which will have Agni or the fire element dominating bodies. That is where we are moving. And that's why so much stress on breathing exercises or pranayamas. And that is the reason pranayama is 100% sure shot working all the time. But at the same time, you cannot deny the fact, you cannot imbalance the water element in your body, which is related to your expansion of your consciousness, keeping your chitta vrittis in control, keeping your thoughts in control, keeping your mind in control. That is very much important. So you cannot go towards keep on increasing the fire, but your water is all going outside the pot all the time. It has reached the boiling point. Someday it will evaporate completely. Right? So you need to keep the boiling point in check. You cannot increase the fire to an extent that it starts negatively impacting the water element in the body. So this is another reason when it is said in ancient scriptures that somebody was doing tapasya or tapas for 100, 200 years. Yeah, well, possible. It is quite possible when we have bodies like that. Today, even the moon and the tide and everything is impacting the physical body that we have, right? Mostly sun doesn't impact, the sun still doesn't have a very direct impact like the impact we get from the moon cycles in our body, because water element is dominating. But when it comes to Treta Yuga or the fire element dominating bodies, sun becomes a direct impact. Sun has a direct impact on your body. Now you are less of moon driven, more of sun driven person. And you see, because we are moving towards that yuga, we are moving towards that kind of dominating bodies, you see a lot of upheaval these days, especially in 2023, 2024, 2025. Lot of solar flares are there. Lot of people, that water is boiling uncontrollably. The thoughts, the mental issues are happening, the mental diseases, all kinds of mental diseases are there, and people are just going down because of they are not able to control their mind, right? Because we are moving towards the sun oriented cycles. On sun impact on earth will increase, so the distance between earth and sun is reduced. And not to say that it may not reduce so much in terms of that earth will get closer to the sun in distance. Instead, the solar flares will have a constant impact on earth. So then if all the way solar flares are able to reach the earth, in a way sun has started becoming closer. Started becoming closer and closer to earth. That is what, in other words, it means. So this is also very important in understanding that, because we are reaching that side. So those who do not have, what do we do to take care of this Agni element, this fire element that is there in the sun, the fire element that is there in our Manipura chakra, Okay, and the fire element that is there in us in so many other ways, it's about Rupa. Rupa means form. Fire element is necessary for us to see. Fire element is necessary for us to digest food. Fire element is necessary in so many other ways. There is fire in this body. Even your prana is fire. Your breath is air, but your prana is actually fire. It's a very important distinction to understand why pranayama shouldn't be called breathing exercise. Both are two different things. The prana is made up of pranavayu, but what moves that pranavayu here and there is the Agni element in you. So just think about all these things and see what you are doing. Your power to will is connected to the Agni element, the fire element in you. And if your power to will is tamasic or is bad in a way or is adharmic in a way, then sure shot you are going to kill yourself on the way. Not just kill, before killing yourself, you will suffer a lot. So do not have adharmic desires. Now what is dharma? What is adharma? There are other videos that I have created, I have published, so you guys can watch those dharma videos. And there is a dharma dialogue series that is going on. You can watch the useful videos from there as well. So do not have adharmic desires. It will kill you. It will make you suffer like anything. The worst kind of suffering happens in the body because of the fire element. It becomes a constant source of burning from within in so many ways. Burning in your chitta from your mental point of view, burning from the feeling lot of dukh, lot of pain from that perspective, and burning as well as in your physical body. Acid production increases in your body. Joint problems happen in your body. Joints start getting locked, frozen here and there. Water starts getting dried up because you're not keeping it in balance. So water is dried up from your bones, from your joints. So these are the reasons we say this is what you guys need to understand when we say somebody was doing tapasya for that long, for 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, 1000 years, because of the different composition of the body of Panch Tattvas. Panch Tattvas are arranged differently in different yugas. And Yuga Sandhi is the period, transition period from one time cycle to the other time cycle. And that transition period is the most crucial period about understanding who will make it, who will not make it. And not just make it, who will make it happily, joyfully, or if who will make it, who will be dragged all the way in a very really painful and suffering way. Who will be dragged? So think about these things and walk your journey with dharma. Live your life with dharma. Namaste. Jai Shiva.